87 4.4 inches you can harden throughout, 92 2.7, 94 which contains manganese, nickel, chromium and moly 4 inches diameter. This is why the alloy steel is developed. The alloy steel is developed so that hardenability of the steel increases. And here is a graph which is showing all the details. Next. Now okay, we have done normalizing, we have done hardening, we have done tempering, we have done os tempering, we have done bar tempering. We know iron carbon diagram, we know TTT diagram. Now we have to check the hardness. Now for hardness checking, we have got Rockwell hardness tester available with us. At 150 kg load, we have got RC scale. It is used for hardened jobs. 100 kg, we have got RB scale where steel ball is there. For normalized and annealed jobs, you have to use RB. On 60 kg, again diamond is there. RA scale for thin walled and low case hardened jobs. When case depth is very low, do not check with RC because at 150 kg load, the diamond indenter will go inside and will not check surface hardness, but it will check the core hardness. And there will be fights between production and quality control. Now we have got another hardness tester available with us, which is known as Vickers hardness tester. The minimum load available normally is 5 kg, suitable for hardened jobs and low case depth jobs. On VPN number, you can check on 5 kg, 10 kg, 15 kg. Next. Now we got Brennan hardness tester, suitable for normalized, annealed and soft jobs. Sometimes Vickers and Brennan hardness tester, they are combined 2 in 1. We got another hardness tester available with us, is known as superficial hardness tester. The hardness tester is suitable for low case depth jobs as well as non-ferrous jobs. 15N, 30 and 45N. This is the indication. You got 15 kg load, you have got 30 kg load, you have got 45 kg load. For ferrous jobs, you have got another scale available in the machine, 15T, 30T, 45T. For non-ferrous jobs, aluminum, copper, brass, lead, you can go for, for same hardness tester, you can check non-ferrous jobs. Next. Now we have got sometimes available with us portable hardness tester, suitable to check the jobs when the jobs are very heavy, or the inspection is to be done at site. You have done heat treatment, you have supplied to some customer complains that there is no hardness. So you have to take a portable hardness tester, go there and show that the hardness is correct. Or when structures are very big, you cannot mount on hardness testing machine, you have to have a portable hardness tester, something like portable X-ray. When the patient is not able to move, portable X-ray can go to the patient. Portable digital type hardness testing machine, suitable for RC and VPN type, it is expensive. Working on Poldi machine, Poldi principle, and these machines are also available, imported machines are there. Next. Case hardening treatment is important when surface hardness should be as high as possible and it should possess at the same time high impact strength. Like when the train is passing on the rail has to have lot of impact strength. At the same time we are resistance. Blade is very hard. When we are shaving, the blade is very hard, but the moment you try to bend it, it breaks. So sometimes in case hardening, what is happening, the case should be as high as possible and core should be tough, not soft. So that tough core and high surface hardness, they can combine with each other and they can also give you impact strength as well as surface hardness. So 2 in 1 operation you can do. The blade which we use for shaving is very hard, but at the same time very brittle. Therefore the moment we try to bend it, it breaks. The impact strength of rails on which the train is moving is very high, and therefore the complete rail does not break and takes complete load of the moving train. You know, when you are standing near a station and Rajdhani is going, you know what type of abuse the track is taking. Continuous. Local trains are running day and night, but you hardly see these rails being changed. And if they have to take maintenance, lot of inconveniences, people are suffering. Now, we are coming to second part, that is carburizing. What is carburizing? Carburizing is initial carbon content of the steel is 0.2, and after carburizing the carbon content should go to 0.8. Why 0.8? Because we have seen iron carbon diagram. At 0.8 the austenite region starts from 723 plus 50 degrees. That means about 780 degrees the austenite range is available. So 0.8 is our objective for case carburizing, and the initial carbon content should be 0.2. Anybody is doing carburizing here? One gentleman, you said carburizing, which is a steel? Steel grade, you remember?
16 mm.
16 mm CR5, that means 0.16% carbon. It contains manganese as well as chromium. Now, in carburizing, we got three branches available with us. One is pack carburizing. As the name suggests, in pack carburizing, the components are systematically packed along with carbonaceous material in stainless steel boxes. Normally, this is done, carburizing is done at 900 to 940 degrees centigrade. As we already indicated, initial content is 0.2 and after carburizing, it should be 0.8. Normally, for 1 millimeter case depth, 9 hours soaking is required. These are the steels which we are normally pack carburizing. MS 16 mm CR5, 20 mm CR5, SAE 8620, EN36. What is SAE? Society of Automotive Engineers. They have designed this series, so their name SAE. AISI we already defined that. Next. Now these are the different chemical reactions which are taking place in pack carburizing. You can only concentrate on reaction number 6, 2CO is equal to CO2 plus C. This C is nation carbon. So whatever is happening in carburizing, the nation carbon is diffusing inside the steel, in solid state, at higher temperature. Of course, when you are heating to 900 to 940 degrees centigrade. This diffusion cannot take at lower temperatures. Next. Now pack carburizing is, they have got some advantages as well as disadvantages. We will not go in detail in advantages and disadvantages because pack carburizing nowadays is outdated method. We have covered in our lecture to make your understanding clear. Next. We have liquid carburizing available with us. As the name suggests, the medium which is used to produce nation carbon to diffuse inside the steel is liquid. Solid salts which are in powder form melt at carburizing temperature. Furnaces are either oil fired or electrical type. And these liquids, they introduces both carbon and nitrogen into the case. Some nitrogen is also going. Next. Now advantages of liquid carburizing, it is very, very economical. The people who have got salt bath, anybody has got salt bath here?
Yeah.
You have got salt bath? Salt bath operations are very, very economical. If you have got private salt bath and you are doing liquid carburizing or hardening in the same furnace, you can make more profits. It's very, very economical. If you want to become rich in life, you can go for this method. Of course, what is it? Back 40 minimum oxidation of the component. The component is dipped into the liquid. The only time it can come in contact with oxygen is when you are quenching. But that time also some layer of liquid is there. So whenever you are doing liquid hardening or carburizing, oxidation is not there. What is oxidation? Whatever air is available in the environment or in the furnace, it reacts with carbon. And if decarburization is taking place, your hardness will go down. If your hardness is going down, just check whether decarb is taking place. But salt bath, that risk is not there. Cycle times are very short. Shorter heat up time because superior heat transfer characteristics of salt bath solutions. So salt bath is very, very economical. Now what are the disadvantages? Every process will have its own advantages and disadvantages. Not a very clean process. You agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Not very neat. If you go to heat treatment, everybody will say, I don't want to go to a treatment shop. Few salts are injurious to health. So people who are working, they may damage their health. Waste treatment of salt not followed by many factories and hence it is not environment friendly. Are you doing any waste treatment? Are you following? Okay. Next. Now we have gas carburizing available with us. We have seen pack carburizing. We have seen liquid. Now we are coming to gas. Gas is very, very popular all over the world. All automobile industries are doing gas carburizing. As the name suggests, the nation carbon for carburizing purpose is from gas. The gas can be natural gas, manufactured gas or propane. Gas carburizing furnaces are of two types. One is batch type, one is continuous. The continuous furnace is normally used for large volume production of similar parts, normally automobile. Almost all reputed automobile manufacturers in the world today are doing gas carburizing in a big way. Next. Carburizing gases, natural gas which is largely methane, CH4, is most common source of carbon. Undiluted natural gas is too much rich to use directly, so that only small quantities are mixed with non-carburizing gas, known as carrier gas. Next. The carrier gas is usually produced externally, such as endothermic gas generator, or it may be an inert gas such as nitrogen. A liquid normally is fed in droplets form to a target plate in the furnace, where it volatilizes almost immediately. Now, total case versus effective case. What is total case and what is effective case? We should define correctly. The total case is from surface hardness to the core hardness. That is the total case. What is the effective case? Suppose outside hardness is 62 and where the point ends you get 50 RC. That is effective. Whenever you are writing case depth, kindly write clearly in the drawing whether it is effective or total. And most of the people, they do not understand what is the definition of case depth. Case depth, there are two types. One is effective and one is total case depth. Total case depth is surface hardness to the core hardness. Effective is from surface hardness to 50 RC. Now, as we know that carburizing is being controlled by temperature. Higher the temperature, the carburizing rate is more immediate. The more penetration of carbon inside, it takes little more, less time. Time, temperature, gas carburizing atmospheres, the ratio normally we are maintaining 8:1 to 30:1. That is carrier gas to hydrocarbon gas. This varies from company to company. While doing this operation, control of carbon concentration is very important. If the carbon concentration goes above 0.8, normally you get cementite in the network, which is again injurious to the health of the steel. Because of amount of water vapor available in furnace atmosphere is directly related to carbon potential, dew point has been the most commonly used method for carbon potential. Anybody is doing gas carburizing? You are doing? Okay. Are you maintaining this dew point? You are maintaining. Very good. However, there are several other control systems which are including infrared analyzer, dew point analyzer, oxygen probes and hot wire analyzer. Any of these systems may be utilized to control the carbon potential automatically within the pre-established limits. Are you controlling automatically? Okay, carburizing is over. We have covered pack carburizing, liquid carburizing and gas carburizing. Now we are coming to second process, which is known as carbonitriding. Carbonitriding is a modified form of gas carburizing. People were not happy. The Asian people were not happy with gas carburizing. So they did little modification and they have gone to carbonitriding. The modification consists of introducing ammonia into the gas carburizing atmosphere to add nitrogen to the carburized case. So if you go to Mahindra & Mahindra, they are doing carbonitriding on automobile components. So they are purging inside carbon as well as ammonia gas. NH3 dissociates into nascent nitrogen and nascent hydrogen. Hydrogen goes into the environment and nascent nitrogen along with nascent carbon diffuses inside the steel. So you are diffusing two elements, one is carbon and one is nitrogen. Nascent